I feel like guys who are hearing this should take away that it's okay to feel your emotions. Like,
It's
yeah,
critical. It's way more than
yeah,
okay. If you're wondering why the intimacy is broken down, if you're wondering why you don't feel seen or supported in your relationship, if you're wondering why your kids don't talk to you, if you're wondering why you don't have an intimate relationship with your parents, if you're wondering why you don't have close friends, if you're wondering why you don't feel like people would show up for you when you really needed them to, if you wonder why, or if you doubt that people would do so if they really knew you, if you have any of those doubts, if you have any of those fears, if you have any pain with that, it's critical that you
yeah,
feel. Because if you don't, your relationships will continue to fall apart and the wedges will continue to be driven and you will feel more isolated and more separate over time. And for some people, unfortunately, it goes to the point of choosing to take their life.
yeah,
When they don't feel the emotions and when the emotions are strong enough and been buried deep enough, long enough, and that pain is so intense and the separation and the isolation becomes so intense that some people choose to end their life. And that, that is something that happened to my little brother. He didn't choose to take his life intentionally, but he took actions that led to his life being taken. And it was his pain, it was his inability to feel his emotions, to express the pain that he carried around with him, the lack of safety that he felt in his life, the lack of support that he felt. And it, you know, kills me as his brother to not have been able to support him in that way, the way that I support other men to feel their emotions. At that time in my maturity and my growth, I wasn't able to speak to my brother in a way where I was able to reach him, and he felt alone and he didn't know what to do with his emotions like many don't. And it was during the pandemic and he was isolated on top of the emotional isolation that was already there. And he turned to drugs like many people do. And, the drugs that he thought he was taking were laced with fentanyl, like happens to many people. And the OD happened. But it's all in some way a result of an inability to be able to recognize and express our feelings in a healthy way. If we are taught how to do that, if we learn that that's okay, if we learn that that's important, then far less of us wind up in a bottle, far less of us wind up in the bottom of a plastic bag, far less of us wind up with pornography addictions and sleeping with hookers and the drugs and the alcohol and the overworking and the social media and all of these problems. Those essentially go away if we're taught how to value and feel our emotions.